Hi, it's Bobby Silver with Sudden Admiral, one of Canada's largest realtors. I'm sitting in the car for a few minutes and I thought I would share something with you. One of my followers had asked me to talk about ways that one can save money and how can anybody afford a house today and what can we all do to try and make our situations a little bit better. And I thought back to buying my first house, and I remember at that time I thought it was just a shitload of money. And how did I do it? Well, back then at that time I was young enough, didn't have the expenses that we have today. You know, kids, houses, cars, gas, insurance. I think we all have the same things. Difference being, one person told me one time, is just some of us have more zeros added at the end of our checks, or more zeros at the end of all our bills. So, you know, you got to cut back somewhere, and the question is where. And I go back to the basics, that if you can save $100, you can save $500. If you can save $500, you can save $1,000. If you can save $1,000, you can save $10,000, and hopefully one day you can save $100,000. So we need to have like I look at like a goal line, a football field. There's the 50-yard line, and then there's the goal line. And, you know, we got to be realistic where we need to be. So if we're thinking about buying a house, we know that the minimum that's required is probably a 20% deposit. I'm not saying you can't get a house if you have a 15% deposit, but you have to be creative. The deposit's important, and obviously your credit score is important. So these are things that you don't think about when you go to buy the house. Hopefully you've been thinking about them since you're 15 years old or 12 years old. So, you know, by the time it comes, I hope that you're in a position where you've worked for a few years or gone to school for a few years, and now you're coming into a point where you're starting to earn some money and you can save some money, but you're going to have to make some decisions. So whether your decision is, do I need an $800 a month BMW? Do I need to spend $20,000 a year on season tickets for the Leafs? Or is it more important that I put some money away for a couple years, and now I'm in a position where I have a down payment? And whether I do this alone, I do it solo, or I do it with a partner, how do we now go to the next stage, which is qualifying for a mortgage? Or do we buy something? Maybe we can pay cash for it and then build up some equity and move on from there. Those are the decisions that we have to make. And again, I say it over and over again, you've got to be realistic. More importantly, you have to be honest with yourself. So what do? I started at a young age. As I said, I bought my first house when I was 17. I didn't buy the Taj Mahal. I bought something at the time that was $66,000, $67,000. Those days, that $60,000, $70,000 doesn't exist. But I'm not saying you can't find a place for $150,000 to $200,000, or maybe with a relative or a very, very close friend. If you each put in an equal amount of money, now all of a sudden you're up to $350,000 to $400,000, which I do believe you can find a place. And that's in Toronto. And if you want to move north, that's great too, or east or west. I mean, the city's expanded to so many areas. Your choices are limitless.